from near Etzion, from all different areas in Eretz Yisrael. And it was fascinating to hear how each one comes in with her own story about how Rav Copperman cared so much for her. And one comes in and she starts saying how she lost her husband at a certain point about a few years after she was a Talmidah in מכללה. And ever since then, Rav Copperman would call her every Friday to wish her good Shabbos and to hear how she was feeling for years and years and years. And then another student pipes up and says, I had an issue in my home and things were not going so well. I also received a phone call every single Friday from Rav Copperman wishing me a good Shabbos and how I was doing. And Dr. Rosenwasser is going through her notebook from the last day and a half, and she's like, you have no idea. She's like, I just don't get it. There aren't enough hours on Friday to imagine how many girls already came and said that Rav Copperman would call her every single Friday to see how she was doing. His care and concern for every single individual was, I think, something that we just cannot even imagine. Interestingly enough, my father was a student of Rav Copperman when he was in high school here in Eretz Yisrael. I think it was called Miron Tzion, if I'm not mistaken. That's where Rav Copperman was teaching. That's where he started with his Pshuto Shel Mikra. And my father was a very, always, like, I grew up hearing about Rav Copperman. About 5 years ago, my father came to Eretz Yisrael, and he wanted very much to go meet Rav Copperman once again and speak to him. And I made a meeting between the two, where my father would be able to come to Rav Copperman's house, and they would be able to sit together. And as soon as my father walks in the door, Rav Copperman remembers who he is, calls him by his name. My father was fast, and we're talking 40 years ago. And they sat and they were able to learn for 2 hours together, reminiscing things that they had learned together 40 years ago. These are things that are not normal. Personally, I remember, I think it was about 7 years ago, I was asked to speak at a teacher's meeting in the beginning of the year. I felt ridiculous because, like, who am I to speak to all of the Machal staff? I really felt foolish, but I wasn't given much of a choice. And I remember after I spoke, I just wanted to crawl and would disappear. At the end of the teacher's meeting, Rav Copperman comes over to me. Like, he makes his way through everyone, and he literally comes over to me. And he says to me, thank you so much. That was incredible. You gave me so much of what to think about. And I'm like, what? I gave you what to think about? Anytime I would pass him in the hallway and I would say, how's the Rav feeling? He would turn around, which Rav? Where is the Rav? He had an incredible anava together with incredible sense of humor. I was not zoche to be his student, but I was zoche for a good, I would say, 15 years to be able to see him almost every day. And even just to pass by him and to hear a few nice words. He always had a funny, nice comment, sensitive, always, whenever he would see anyone. One of the teachers here in מכללה actually came to tell me yesterday that she was a student many, many years ago here in מכללה, and she did not at that time have enough money to come learn in מכללה. Rav Copperman when she came and she told him her situation, he said to her, just come, start learning, and we'll see. At a certain point, he offered her a certain job in מכללה, doing some work, and he said to her, whenever you have money, you can pay with it, so that you should feel that you paid for your learning. Another woman walks in yesterday at the Shiva and says, I had terrible teeth issues. And one day when he asked me how I was feeling, I said my mouth was sore. I have a lot of teeth issues, and he knew that I didn't have money. She goes, 2 days later, she received a check in the mail, straight from Rav Copperman, with money to pay for all her tipulim. And another secretary who worked with him for years said this was an ongoing thing every day. He would send his own money over to students and to people in need in order to help them. These are just little things that I heard as I was there yesterday, which really let us realize that we have lost a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous person, a gadol, an anav, someone that we have so much of what to learn from. And halvai that we should take, the continuation of our year and our lives in Mirz Hashem and live up to what Rav Copperman gave us. Have a good day, girls, and a good Shabbos. Take care.